This is Story Recapped. Today, I'm going to explain an action, sci-fi film called The Matrix Resurrections. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. When Bugs, the captain of the hovercraft Nemesine, enters the Matrix, she notices a familiar code and takes a closer look. Inside a dilapidated building, a SWAT team arrives to apprehend a female hacker. As Bugs and Sek observe the woman fight the SWAT team from a corner, they realize that the incident happened before. They watch her flee to another building and recall that the same thing happened when Trinity contacted Neo, but they're puzzled when 3 agents arrive to capture her. Trinity was never apprehended in the stories they heard. Sek surmises that it must be a trap, so he advises Bugs to leave the Matrix. Before Bugs can flee, an agent arrives and attacks her. As Bugs fights back, they fall into the building where the other agents are arresting the hacker. Bugs jumps from the building to escape and hangs on a signboard to break her fall. Agents and cops continue to pursue her when she lands, so she runs to a key shop. While hiding under the counter, an agent suddenly grabs her from behind and drags her into another room. Bugs realizes that the agent saved her, so she introduces herself and explains that they seem to be in a modal code, a simulation used to evolve programs. The agent knows he's a digital sentience that hunts synthients, but he somehow broke free from his programming. When Bugs looks around, she recognizes the room as Neo's apartment. Most people think that Neo is dead, but Bugs is sure that he's alive because she saw him while she was washing windows at a high-rise building. Bugs' mind was unlocked when Neo looked at her. The agent notes that something similar happened to him. He started seeing patterns and realized that he was not in the real world. The agent then discloses that he is Morpheus, and he intends to find Neo. Bugs shows him a red pill and a blue pill, but she points out that the choice between the two is an illusion, because Morpheus already knows what he has to do. When Morpheus swallows the red pill, Bugs tells him that they must go to the Lafayette building. As they look for a back door to the building, they end up back at the key shop where other agents are waiting. The agents pursue them as they flee to the other back doors, and when they reach the Lafayette, they jump from a window to exit the Matrix. In the studio of a game development company called Deus Machina, Thomas Anderson looks at the old code for his video game, The Matrix. Later, he and his colleague Jude go to a coffee shop where Thomas sees Tiffany, a married mother of 2. Jude notices that Tiffany captured Thomas's attention, so he introduces her to Thomas. When they shake hands, Tiffany asks if they've met before, so Thomas explains that he frequently visits the coffee shop. Soon, Tiffany's husband, Chad, arrives to fetch them. When he returns to the game studio, his business partner, Smith, informs him that their parent company wants to make a sequel to the Matrix trilogy. As Smith convinces him to develop the new game, Thomas hallucinates and sees Smith's lips fuse. The following day, Thomas visits his psychotherapist and reveals that he's feeling like he's living in a computer-generated reality. The therapist points out that Thomas has a powerful imagination because he survived an attempt to take his own life. He contends that Thomas's mind is only reacting out of fear of being forced to make another Matrix game. He assures him that his episode is a healthy demonstration of self-preservation. After the session, the therapist offers to renew the prescription for his pills. Thomas swallows a blue pill before attending a meeting to develop Matrix 4. Over the next few weeks, Thomas and the development team try to develop a new concept for the game. One day, Thomas sees Tiffany at the coffee shop again, so he offers to pay for her drink and chats with her. Tiffany reveals that she looked him up on the internet and she's heard of the Matrix before they met. When Tiffany asks if the game's main character was based on himself, Thomas acknowledges that he inserted his personality in the character. Tiffany reveals that she liked the character Trinity because they share a love for motorcycles. She once showed Chad a scene from the game and pointed out that she looked like Trinity, but Chad laughed. Tiffany confesses that she got angry at herself because she laughed along with him. While Thomas is working, he hears an alarm indicating that the building is being evacuated. When he leaves his office, he sees a message on his phone instructing him to go through the door at the end of the hall if he wants answers. Thomas goes to the bathroom thinking that Jude sent him the message, but Morpheus emerges from a cubicle and introduces himself. Thomas points out that he's just a character in his game, so Morpheus lets Thomas touch him to assure him that he's real. Morpheus offers him a red pill, but Thomas refuses because he still can't believe he's in the Matrix. Morpheus puts his hand through the mirror to show Thomas the exit to the Matrix, but Thomas is still skeptical. Thomas tries to run out of the bathroom, but a SWAT team arrives. As Morpheus deals with the SWAT team, Thomas storms out of the bathroom telling himself that he's hallucinating. Another SWAT team emerges to stop him, but a bomb explodes. Thomas hides behind a table as Morpheus engages the SWAT in a shootout. Smith soon arrives and picks up a gun. He starts shooting at Thomas after realizing that he used to be an agent. As Thomas evades Smith, he comes across a black cat. Smith eventually finds Thomas and points a gun at his head. Thomas suddenly recalls Smith shooting him in the head a long time ago. Before Smith could shoot, Thomas suddenly finds himself in the therapist's office. The therapist claims that he found Thomas outside his door when he heard the bell of his cat, Deja Vu. The therapist reminds Thomas of when he tried jumping off the building and pointed out that he has made significant progress since then. When he asks Thomas what's triggering his episodes, Thomas discloses that Morpheus texted him. However, Thomas notes that it wasn't actually Morpheus, but a program for a model he created. The therapist convinces Thomas that he just incorporated elements of his life into his game to achieve his ambition to create a virtual environment indistinguishable from reality. He cautions Thomas against indulging in his fantasies because people can get hurt. While getting drunk on top of a building, Thomas sees a pigeon flying away. Thomas gets on top of a ledge to find out if he can fly, but Bugs stops him from jumping off. Bugs discloses that she saw Thomas when he leaped from a building, and she was amazed he never fell. When Thomas's phone rings, Bugs notes that the caller is Jude. Bugs convinces Thomas that Jude intends to leap agents to his location, so Thomas follows her to several portals that lead to a theater where Morpheus awaits. On the backdrop of the theater, they show footage from Thomas's game to help him accept the truth. Thomas realizes that he was supposed to be dead if the Matrix is real. Bugs reveals that the machines kept him alive and went to great lengths to hide him, but Thomas knows that they don't seem to be hiding anything because he was able to create a game called the Matrix. Bugs reveals that the machines altered Thomas's digital self-image to make him look like an aging man to other people. It's been 60 years since he went off to one of the machine cities with Trinity, but they don't know why he barely aged. Morpheus offers Thomas a choice between the blue pill and the red pill. He notes that he'll return to his miserable life in the Matrix if he takes the blue pill, so Thomas chooses the red pill. After swallowing the pill, Thomas touches the mirror. His therapist sees his hand going through the mirror on the other side, so he tells Thomas that he's going through a psychotic break. The therapist tries to pull Thomas to the other side, but Bugs grabs him. When a SWAT team arrives, Bugs and the crew lead Thomas to a portal that leads to a moving train in Japan. The group soon learns that some passengers are bots programmed to chase them, so they fight them off before heading to another portal. After dealing with the bots and the SWAT team, Bugs instructs Thomas to go through a small mirror on the wall. After going through the mirror, Thomas exits the Matrix as Neo and finds himself in a pod. He immediately notices Trinity in a pod nearby. Suddenly, a machine grabs him by the neck and detaches the wires attached to his body. Another machine takes him to the Nemesine. As his body goes into shock, the group connects his brain to the construct to keep him alive. Inside the virtual world, he reluctantly spars with Morpheus. Neo regains his martial arts skills as Morpheus taunts him. As Morpheus beats him up, he urges Neo to fight for his life if he wants to see Trinity again. Neo ends the sparring session by hitting Morpheus with a strong telekinetic blast. Later, Bugs introduces Neo to her crew. When Neo notices the machines that freed him from the pod, Bugs explains that they're sentients who risk their lives to save him. Neo mentions that Trinity was in the pod next to him, but Bugs notes that they only had enough time to rescue him. They don't know how to rescue Trinity because the sentients who helped him have already been exiled. Soon, the Nemesine arrives in Io, the new underground dwelling place for humans who were unplugged from the Matrix. General Niobe welcomes Neo, but she tells Bugs that they're grounded for violating protocols when they rescued Neo. Later, Niobe confesses to Neo that she's ashamed for taking too long to believe that Neo can negotiate peace with the machines. She then shows that their scientists are now cooperating with the Synthians to grow fruits and vegetables using codes from the Matrix. It would not have been possible in Zion because they refused to work with the Synthians back then. Niobe recounts that the machines fought with each other when energy became scarce. Zion fell under the new power that emerged from the war. Neo tells Niobe that he wants to free Trinity, but Niobe notes that it will endanger Io. Niobe orders Captain Shepard to detain Neo to prevent him from rescuing Trinity. Soon after Shepard leaves him in the cell, the Nemesine arrives to take him out of Io. Neo and the Nemesine crew soon re-enter the Matrix through a portal in a hotel room. Afterward, Sack leads them to a portal near Tiffany's garage where she builds motorcycles. Before they can find Tiffany, Smith confronts Neo and discourages him from rescuing Trinity. When Neo refuses, the Merovingian and other exiles emerge to attack Neo and the Nemesine crew. Morpheus and Neo take turns to fight against Smith as the other crew members deal with the exiles. After throwing Morpheus to the ground, Smith comes after Neo. They fight in a dilapidated bathroom after falling from a platform. When Smith knocks Neo down, he points out that he's not as strong as he used to be. Neo keeps fighting, but Smith knocks him down with his strong blows. Smith attempts to smash a sink on Neo's head, but Neo blocks it and blows him away with a telekinetic blast. Neo soon finds Tiffany, but his therapist, the Analyst, appears out of nowhere and slows time as Neo attempts to attack him. The Analyst was present when Neo died, and he was the one who convinced the machines to resurrect him and Trinity. Neo and Trinity don't pose any threat to the Matrix when they're apart, but they're dangerous when they're together. The The analyst discovered that he could keep humans docile by keeping Neo and Trinity near each other, but he must prevent them from getting too close. He then discloses that Tiffany's assistant, Kush, is one of his handlers and puts him in swarm mode. Kush then grabs a gun from a drawer and shoots Tiffany. Neo tries to intercept the bullet, but he can't move fast enough. The analyst urges Neo to return to the Matrix and catches the bullet before it reaches Tiffany. After leaving the Matrix, the crew discovers that Sentinels are after them, so they have no choice but to return to Io and face a court-martial. As Niobe scolds the crew, a Synthiant reports that Sati wants to meet with her and Neo. During the meeting, Sati, another exile, informs him that Neo's escape destabilized the Matrix. The machines have a failsafe to reset the Matrix to its previous version, but the analyst convinces him to wait because he knows Neo will come back if he threatens to kill Trinity. Neo decides to return to the Matrix and live as Thomas so that the analyst wouldn't kill Trinity, but Niobe sends him and other volunteers on a mission to rescue Trinity from her pod. The team soon embarks on the mission, and Morpheus sneaks past the Sentinels to reach Trinity's pod. Soon, Bugs arrives to connect her brain to implement the bypass and unplug Trinity's body while her mind remains in the Matrix. Trinity doesn't need to take the red pill, but she has to choose to leave the Matrix. Sati later reveals that she came up with the plan because she wanted to avenge her parents who were purged when the analyst took over the Matrix. Soon, Neo returns to the Matrix and confronts the analyst in the coffee shop. Neo notes that he will surrender if Trinity wants to stay in the Matrix, but he demands the analyst to set them free if she wants to leave. Meanwhile, Sati extracts Trinity's body from the pod, but they still have to wait for her to make her decision before they unplug her mind. When Tiffany arrives, she tells Neo that she played his video game, but it felt like a memory. She reveals that a part of her has been waiting for Neo, but she doesn't think that she's Trinity. Suddenly, Tiffany's family arrives and tells her that they have to go to the hospital because her daughter was in an accident. Tiffany goes with them, but before they reach the door, she looks back at Neo and realizes that she's Trinity. Her husband suddenly switches into swarm mode, so Trinity attacks him. Neo releases a powerful wave of telekinetic energy to break free from the SWAT officers holding him down, but the analyst slows the time down and tells him that he won't let them escape. The analyst points a gun at Trinity's head, but Smith arrives and slaps the weapon out of his hand. As soon as Smith knocks him down, time returns to normal, and the SWAT fires at Neo and the crew. Neo blocks the bullets while the crew members fire back at the officers. Meanwhile, Sati plugs Bugs into the Matrix and implements the bypass to unplug Trinity. The analyst orders the Sentinels to destroy Trinity when he realizes that she's been unplugged, but she's already gone from her pod. Trinity and Neo reach out to each other as the other SWAT officers try to pull them apart. As soon as they grab each other's hands, a burst of energy blows away the officers. Smith shoots the analyst repeatedly, but not before he could activate a swarm of bots to come after them. Neo, Trinity, and the crew see the swarm approaching as soon as they exit the coffee shop. Neo attempts to fight them, but Trinity gets on her bike and takes off with Neo. As they flee, Neo uses his abilities to fend off the swarm while the rest of the crew shoot their way through the bots coming after them. As Neo and Trinity pass by blocks of high-rise buildings, the bots jump from the windows to hit them. When the swarm stops chasing after Neo and Trinity, Sek realizes they led them to a trap. Helicopters soon emerge and fire rockets at the couple. Neo creates a shield to protect them, but a blast throws them off the bike. Meanwhile, Bugs and Morpheus then enter the Matrix to rescue the rest of the crew. Trinity and Neo soon flee to a building. A SWAT team arrives and shoots them while they wait for the elevator, so Neo blocks their bullets until they enter the lift. Upon reaching the roof, 2 helicopters start firing at them, so Trinity hides behind Neo as he fends off the projectiles with the shields. When a helicopter fires a rocket, Neo redirects it towards the other helicopter, but the resulting explosion knocks him out. When they regain consciousness, Trinity looks at the rising sun in awe and tells Neo that they can't return to their pods. Trinity and Neo jump off, holding on to each other as SWAT officers storm the roof. Neo almost plunges to the ground, but he hangs on to Trinity, who has gained the ability to fly. A helicopter soon approaches them, so Trinity leaves with Neo to find a way out of the Matrix. After being unplugged, Neo and Trinity see each other for the first time in reality since the resurrection. Trinity and Neo soon return to the Matrix to confront the analyst. After breaking down the house's walls, Trinity flies down and expresses her dismay about the name the analyst gave her. The analyst explains that it was an inside joke, but Trinity is not pleased, so she swiftly kicks him in the face. The analyst's face breaks due to the force, but Trinity snaps her fingers to return it to normal. Trinity then slashes the analyst's throat, only to bring him back to life. Neo asks the analyst if he tried to activate the failsafe. The analyst explains that the higher-ups tried, but they failed since they couldn't control the source codes for Neo and Trinity. The analyst surmises that they want to negotiate, so he warns them that they will soon return to their pods because people want the comfort of safety over freedom and empowerment. However, Neo and Trinity disclose that they came back not to negotiate, but to recreate the Matrix. Trinity notes that they just stopped by to thank the analyst for giving them another chance.
This is all for Story Recap for today. Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Tell us in the comments if you want us to recap your favorite movie. Watch other of our videos showing on the screen and leave a like because it helps the channel. And I would see you in the next video. Goodbye.